Conservative MPs in England are urging the government to increase funding for local councils to avoid an election wipeout. Officials are facing severe financial strain, with 1 in 5 warning they will effectively go bankrupt in the coming year. Chapman has more from London.
When it comes to mental health, asking for help isn't easy, but finding it can be just as challenging. In the UK, the already stretched health service outsources much of that support to charities. At Mind in Croydon, those in need can receive counselling services and attend support groups.
It makes you come out. Being stuck in years ago, before I came here, 5 years I didn't leave my flat. I was very, very ill. Ended up on drugs. It just got so bad I ended up in hospital all the time. It was just trapped. There was nowhere safe to be. And now I find out that they've lost 2 staff. They're not going to be open as much. So now it just feels devastating, because I was relying on coming here more when I move.
Vicky lives in Croydon, a South London borough whose council has declared bankruptcy 3 times since 2020. As a result, the local branch of Mind has seen its funding slashed. It could also lose one of its facilities, which the council is considering selling to pay the interest on its debts. The organisation says limiting its remit is short-sighted.
If we're able to support people to manage what they're experiencing and maintain their tenancies and their home, and are able to contribute to society by going into work and being able to support their families, of course that will save, an unfathomable amount of money further down the line, because they won't then be needing costly secondary mental health services, or indeed be subject to much more stringent processes if they were to lose the tenancy on their homes, for example.
Demand for those services is only rising as the cost of living bites. Last year, Mind in Croydon helped more than 8,000 people, an increase of 9% on the year before. Cuts are having a severe impact on local services, but councils are in a difficult position. Selling assets is one of their few options to raise funds when money from central government doesn't go far enough. Croydon is not alone. Since 2018, 8 local authorities have issued 12 warnings that they were about to exceed their budget. Collectively, they are responsible for areas where more than 3 million people reside. For some, financial mismanagement was to blame, but increasingly, margins are just becoming tighter.
In terms of increasing their income, they're quite limited on what they can do. Within a financial year, they can't increase their council tax by more than a threshold the government sets. They can't really raise too much in other taxes because they don't have any other revenue-raising powers. They could try and increase sales and fees, things like car parking charges, but that's quite small in the overall scheme of things. More likely, they'll look to try and cut spending on other service areas. That includes things like social care, cultural spaces and leisure facilities. The government has announced a 6.5% increase in council funding this year. It says any more would be unaffordable, but councils argue it doesn't undo a real terms cut of 40% over a 10-year period. And they warn that it's residents who will feel the impact most of all. Chapman, CNA, London.